spiraling upward. Say the word, and I wake. Her voice caught. And if I say no? The symbols faltered, dimming. Then you watch them tear the city apart piece by piece. She closed her eyes, and for a split second, she saw Liam's face, mud-spattered, exhausted, but alive, and the image of him lying still on cold stones. Her chest tightened. The vision faded, and she was back in the station. A white coat was on the ground, its mask shattered. The Boyd was bleeding light from a deep gash in its chest plate. Liam was pinned against a pillar, a baton pressed to his throat. Her hands curled into fists. "Enough," she screamed. And the Corps answered. The rain froze midair, droplets hanging like glass beads. The fighters around her slowed, their movements dragging like they were wading through tar. Light poured from her hands, spilling onto the cracked tiles and racing outward in intricate patterns. The white coats stumbled back, their masks flickering with static. The boy dropped to one knee, its blades retracting as its eyes burned brighter than ever. Liam stared at her, his mouth open. "Emma, what did you—" The Corps' voice was everywhere now. "The lock is broken. I am awake." The light shot upward, piercing the night sky in a column that seemed to tear the clouds apart. The rain resumed in a torrent, but the white coats were already retreating, vanishing into the shadows. The Boyd rose to its feet, but its posture was different now. Less soldier, more sentinel. "Directive updated," it said. Awaiting orders from Voice. Emma's knees felt weak. "Voice." "You," the Boyd replied. Liam looked at her like he wasn't sure whether to hug her or run. "So, what now?" The Corps' whisper came softer now, almost like a lullaby. "Now, we begin." Morning came, without warning. Emma woke to pale light cutting through the shattered windows of a small apartment above the tram station. Her muscles ached like she'd run for miles, but she remembered every second of the night before, the column of light, the frozen rain, the way the Boyd had called her voice. Liam was sitting by the door, a pistol in his lap, eyes fixed on the street below. "You didn't sleep," she said. "Couldn't," he replied. "It's too quiet out there." She crossed to the window. He was right. The city wasn't just quiet, it was wrong. No traffic. No footsteps. Not even the distant hum of power lines. Just the wind. She turned to the Boyd, who stood perfectly still in the corner, its eyes dimmed to a low amber glow. "What happens now?" she asked. The Boyd's head tilted slightly, as if listening to something far away. "Signal network is awakening. Corps instructions will arrive." Liam swore under his breath. "So, we just sit here until it tells us what to do?" "Correction," the Boyd said. "Until you tell us what to do." Emma's stomach tightened. The weight of it hit her then. She wasn't just carrying the Corps' voice. She was the Corps' voice. And whatever she said next would ripple through whatever network was waking up. "I don't even know what I'm supposed to want," she admitted. The Boyd didn't answer. But Liam's voice was sharp. "Then you figure out fast. Because the white coats aren't gone. They're regrouping. And if they figure out you've awakened it..." He didn't finish the sentence. A low vibration ran through the floor. At first she thought it was another tram passing beneath the station, but there hadn't been trams in months. The Boyd's eyes flared. "Seismic anomaly detected. Origin point, 2.4 kilometers east." Liam was already on his feet, checking his gear. Could be them. But as the rumble grew, Emma felt it in her teeth, a low, grinding frequency that didn't belong to anything human. She moved to the window just as a column of dust rose in the distance, swallowing the skyline. For a moment, the sound stopped, like the city was holding its breath. Then came the scream. It wasn't human. It was metal, tearing and resonating, carrying for miles. The Boyd's tone changed, faster, clipped. "Non-core construct detected. Classification, Null Titan." "Null what?" Liam barked. The Boyd turned its gaze to Emma. "Core records identify it as pre-collapse war machine. Independent. Hostile to all entities, including Voice." The scream came again, closer now, followed by the sound of something massive shifting its weight. Buildings in the distance seemed to lean under an invisible pressure. Emma's hands tightened on the windowsill. "So that's what wakes up when the Corps does?" Negative, the Boyd said. It woke because it sensed you. Liam shot her a look. Congratulations. You've got a fan. Emma ignored him, staring at the dust clouds swallowing more of the city. Can we fight it? She asked. The Boyd hesitated. Outcome probability, less than 17% without coordinated core network. Liam let out a short laugh. And I'm guessing we don't have that yet. Correct, the Boyd confirmed. The rumble deepened. Plaster rained from the ceiling. In the street below, a flock of pigeons burst into the air, scattering like they'd been fired from a gun. Emma's heart pounded. She didn't need the core's voice in her head to know this thing was coming for her. But then, as the next roar split the air, the core did speak, soft, calm, deliberate. You have unlocked me, voice. Now you must lead. She took a slow breath, turned to the Boyd and said, Then get me close to it. Liam's head snapped toward her. Are you out of your mind? She looked him dead in the eye. If I'm the reason it woke up, I'm the only one who can make it stop. The Boyd stepped forward, blades sliding out with a whisper of steel. Acknowledged. Mission begins. They moved fast through the empty streets, rain-slick cobblestones reflecting the fractured light of dawn. The Boyd led the way, each step silent despite its weight, scanning every shadow. Liam stayed close to Emma, his pistol drawn, his eyes flicking between alleys like he expected something to burst from every doorway. The ground trembled again, a slow, steady pulse like the heartbeat of a giant. It was getting stronger. They turned onto a wide boulevard, and Emma stopped dead. In the distance, half shrouded in dust, the Null Titan moved. It wasn't walking, it was advancing, its body shifting like a living machine made from the skeletons of skyscrapers. Plates of scorched steel slid over one another like tectonic plates, catching the light in brief flashes. Its head, or what might have been a head, was a fortress-sized prism of black glass, fractured but unbroken, and from within it came the low, resonant hum she'd felt in her bones earlier. Liam swore under his breath. That thing's not a machine. It's a city with legs. The Boyd's voice was flat, almost reverent. Null Titan designation. Sovereign Ash. Last recorded activity. Berlin collapse. Year -5. Emma didn't understand what that meant, but she knew one thing. It was coming straight for her. The core whispered in her mind, steady and calm despite the earth-shaking monstrosity ahead. It senses the awakening. It will not stop until it removes the voice. Then we remove it first, Emma said. The Boyd's eyes flared. Engagement initiated. Before Liam could argue, the Boyd broke into a sprint. The Titans had turned, slow at first, then snapping toward them with terrifying speed for something so massive. A beam of white heat lanced from the fracture in its glass face, searing the air where they had stood a second before. The street exploded in a spray of molten asphalt. Liam grabbed Emma's arm, yanking her behind an overturned tram. You can't fight that thing. Yes, I can, she said, her voice shaking but certain. The core says. I don't care what the core says, he snapped. I care about keeping you breathing. But the Boyd was already climbing the side of a collapsed building, scaling it like an insect. From its shoulder ports, 3 bladed drones launched into the air, slicing toward the Titan's joints. They struck, but the Titan's armor absorbed the blows like pebbles against a tank. The Titan's roar shook the sky. Windows shattered in waves, cascading down the empty street. Emma's ears rang, but through the chaos, the core's voice cut through, sharper now. Closer, voice. My reach is limited at this range. She didn't think, she ran. Out from behind the tram, across the open street, feet splashing through rainwater as the Titan's shadow fell over her. Emma? Liam's voice was somewhere behind her, raw with panic. The Titan shifted, lowering its colossal body until the fractured glass prism loomed only stories above her. She could see movement within the cracks, shapes, symbols, something alive inside the crystal. The core's tone changed, almost urgent. Touch it. Emma stopped, chest heaving, the heat from the Titan's core radiating across her face. One wrong move, and she'd be vaporized. But she stepped forward anyway, pressing her palm to the nearest chunk of shattered steel plating. The world vanished. She was standing in a black ocean under a sky of turning gears, each the size of planets. The Titan was here too, but smaller, hunched, almost restrained. Chains of light wrapped around its limbs, each chain glowing with the same symbols the core had shown her before. "It is broken," the core said, "but not dead. I can end it now if you allow me." "And if I don't?" she asked. "It will learn. It will adapt. Next time, no chain will hold it." Emma's breath came fast. Outside this vision, she could feel the Titan's heat, hear the Boyd shouting something distant, hear Liam calling her name. She swallowed hard. "Do it." The core's light surged. The chains shattered, not into fragments, but into streams of burning symbols that dove into the Titan's body. It screamed, a sound of metal tearing against its own will, then collapsed in on itself, folding until nothing was left but a jagged shard of black glass at her feet. She picked it up without thinking. The Boyd landed beside her, armor scorched, blades dripping molten steel. Target neutralized. Liam caught up, breathless, looking between her and the glass shard. "Tell me you didn't just make it worse." Emma stared at the shard, and the core's voice came again, softer this time. "You hold its heart now, voice. Use it or lose everything." They didn't stop running until the boulevard gave way to a tangled maze of narrow side streets. The buildings here leaned so close together that the morning light barely touched the ground. Rain dripped from rusted gutters, pattering on warped cobblestones. Emma's boots squelched in a puddle as she slowed, leaning against a wall to catch her breath. Her hand was still clenched around the shard of black glass, slick with rainwater. Except the rain wasn't sticking to it. The drops slid off as if repelled by an invisible field. The Boyd stopped in the middle of the alley, scanning for movement. Null Titan core fragment detected. Containment not advised without shielding. Liam shot it a sharp look. Then maybe she shouldn't be carrying it barehanded? "I can't drop it," Emma said. And it was true. Her fingers wouldn't open, even when she tried. "It's like it's holding me as much as I'm holding it." The core's voice whispered in her mind, almost intimate. The heart recognizes the voice. She swallowed. What does it do? "It connects you to what it once commanded." Before she could ask what that meant, the shard pulsed, once, twice, sending a jolt up her arm. Her vision blurred. For a heartbeat, she wasn't standing in a wet alley in a broken city. She was above it, seeing from a height so great the streets looked like veins in a living map. She could feel movement in the ruins, scavengers creeping through subway tunnels, the three white coats regrouping in a half-collapsed courthouse, something enormous stirring under the harbor waters. Then, just as suddenly, she was back in her body, gasping. Liam's hand was on her shoulder. "Emma, hey, what just happened?" She shook her head. "I saw everything. Not just here, miles away. Like the city was breathing under me." The Boyd stepped closer. The heart is a relay node. With it, you can access dormant constructs across the core's influence. Command them. Emma looked at the shard. Command them to do what? "Anything," the Boyd replied without hesitation. The weight of that single word settled over her like a lead blanket. Anything. Entire armies of machines, asleep somewhere in the bones of the city, waiting for someone to speak the right command. Liam's voice cut in, tight with unease. "You're telling me she's basically holding the keys to the apocalypse?" The Boyd didn't answer. It didn't have to. The shard pulsed again, harder this time, and Emma staggered, clutching her head. Flashes burned behind her eyes, towers collapsing in slow motion, bridges folding into rivers, skies full of black-winged shapes. Voices overlapped in a static storm, some mechanical, some human, each one calling to her, begging for orders. The core's voice sliced through the chaos. "If you do not speak, others will." Emma's knees buckled. Liam caught her before she hit the ground. "That's it," he said, turning on the Boyd. "We're getting rid of it. Attempting disposal will alert all hostile entities within range," the Boyd said evenly. "The heart's location is already broadcasting." Emma's head snapped up. Broadcasting to who? The Boyd's eyes brightened a fraction. "Unknown." but inbound signals are increasing. A chill crawled down her spine. How fast? The Boyd tilted its head, listening to some frequency only it could hear. They will be here within the hour. Liam swore. Then we move.
Now.
But even as he spoke, the shard pulsed a third time, and this time Emma felt recognition in it. Not from her, but from something else. Something listening. Something answering. The core's tone was sharper now, urgent. Voice, they know you hold the heart.
And they're coming to take it?